office. All right, Ann,
I appreciate your advice, but I'll take that under advisement.
we're at 8:45. Whenever you want, I'll give a quick introduction. So Ann Kennedy, actually, how we met her originally, she came into Keller Williams up at the Business Center and actually spoke on real estate investing. And you work and or live in the San Francisco area?
I do.
Okay. And so Ann's come our way and got us introduced to this this organization called Top Agent Network. And what better person to talk about it than the person who's running it? So go ahead, Ann. And if you want to talk a little bit more about your background and your history, that's fine too.
Sure. Great. Yeah. So prior to Top Agent Network, I was a top agent and also an operating principal and team leader at various times for Keller Williams. And I still have ownership in several market centers, but Top Agent Network is an organization that's been around for about 10 years, and it is for agents who are in the top 10% of their community. And we have 30, Oahu is our 34th chapter. And we are the online communication platform for top agents. And these days, because top agents often work in team settings, it's for top agents and their teams. And I can tell you more about how team members can leverage their top agents membership in TAN. Because again, Adrienne is the one who is qualified. So you guys all get the benefit of her being a top agent. And I know you all help contribute to that success as well. So you get to benefit from the affiliation too. So as Attilio was mentioning, there are, I came to Top Agent because I used to be a member of Top Agent, and I saw how valuable it was, because as an online communication platform for top agents, it gives them a place to go to share with other top agents about pre-MLS properties, off MLS properties, buyer needs. So it's a great place to be working on behalf of your clients, prospecting with other top agents. You know, hey, I've got this great listing coming up. Does this sound like something you could use? So for example, let me show you what, let me do a screen share. Let me show you what post that Adrienne put out last week was. So this is how it looks when it goes to all of the, right now we have the top 250 agents in Oahu receiving this. We're going to expand that out to the top 500 in the next couple of weeks. And so these are the agents who are already selling 90% of the properties on the island. And so as team members, you know, you're helping with that. Right now, you'll be able to log in through Adrienne's account, and you can have multiple users logging in at the same time, so you're not going to get bounced out if another one of you is in there. But it's her opportunity. This, for example, this one was an off MLS property. The other three she put up were pre-MLS. And in general, the guideline we give our agents is when you're using it to market on behalf of your sellers, get it out there. We like to say a minimum of 3 days, but ideally 5 to 7 days before it's going to hit the MLS. And does any of you have an idea of why you want it out there more than just a day before the MLS?
Build the buzz. You know, it creates something that where it's like, ooh, this is unique.
Exactly. And if you're a member of this and you're getting something and it's coming on the MLS the next day, it doesn't really give you the chance to send it to your clients and say, look, I just found you something that's not on the MLS yet, and we have an opportunity to go take a look, and we might even be able to write an offer. But if you've given your colleagues who are also your competitors, but in this situation, hopefully they're going to be bringing you a buyer. If you give them a couple days so they can call up their clients, either they're going to do one of two things. As Attilio said, they're either going to say, hey, get ready. There's a property that looks like it's going to be a great fit for you. You know, let's schedule an appointment, you know, block off your calendar so we can get you in there the first day it's on the MLS. Or, hey, this one we have an opportunity to see before it hits the MLS. That's a great thing for them. So you've just helped them help you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And on your side, now on your team, do you guys work primarily with buyers or do you work with buyers and sellers as team members?
We'll give you the specific, we have buyer agents and we have listing partners.
Okay. So if you're a buyer's agent, you'll be looking at this and you'll be looking through and looking at all the properties like this one to see, off MLS, wow, okay, this is something where I am now adding value to my clients by being able to say, because I'm a member of Team Lally and Team Lally is a member of Top Agent Network, I have access to properties that 90% of the agents on the island don't have. So it gives you a competitive edge in buyer consultations, in open houses where you're hosting and you're trying to attract buyers. You can even, let me show you something else here.
And while you're pulling that up, I also want you to mention who specifically, even if they're in the top 10%, is not allowed in this agent network.
Thank you. Great. So we do not allow buyer-only agents. In other words, you have to be a full-service agent. We do not allow discount agents because, again, you have to be a full-service agent. So if you're only working with buyers, that's not our definition of a top agent. A top agent is somebody who services all clients, not just one or the other, okay? So let me show you something else here. So this is, do screen share again. Where's my screen share? Here we go. Okay. So this is the kind of thing where this one is a really nice flyer, and I would suggest print this out and take it to your open houses. For example, how TAN agents help you find and purchase your uniquely perfect home. Okay, so for example, right here, see where it says they find properties that average agents can't find? They understand your market better because, again, when you're getting this added information that 90% of the agents don't have access to, you can talk about the market in a more informed way, right? You can say, look, I know what I get a heads up on things that are coming on the market before all these other agents do. So you'll want to be talking with me. And then at the bottom it says here, TAN members sell 14 times as many properties based on dollar volume compared to non-members in the area. So that's, again, that's the 90-10. You know, we talk a lot about the 80-20, but actually it's 90-10. So, and your team is a good example of that. You know, you're selling in the top, well, you're in the top 1%, less than 1%. So you're selling disproportionately way out of proportion to the average members in the market there. And so, okay, so can I give you a quick run through of how to use the system? Would that be helpful?
Sure.
Or, oh, that's a thumbs up. Okay, thank you. Okay, 1 second here. Do another screen share and get you to. Okay, oops, got the wrong one there. 1 second. Okie doke. Screw it. No, okay, so once you log in, you're going to have, this is the home page that you're going to see. I'm logged in as Carissa Campbell. Up here in the right-hand corner, you're going to see Adrian's name and picture, okay? You're going to have two choices. One is you can add a client, which we call our private matching. The other one is you can broadcast now. The difference between these two is when you're broadcasting, you're doing what you saw Adrian do. She's sending information out right then to all 250 agents, and they're going to get it in their email inbox, okay? It's called a broadcast. We're going to talk about that first. So when you click on broadcast now, you have three choices. You can broadcast a property. And again, there's no on MLS properties. It's just pre-MLS or off MLS. You can broadcast a buyer need. And for those of you who are buyer's agents, here's some important tips about this. if you have give me an example of a buyer who everybody has, that everybody's, property that everybody's looking for in the market. Tell me what that would sound like.
Say that one more time.
Give me an example in your market right now of a buyer need that like everybody has the same. What would it be? Is it a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a particular location for a particular price, or what would that look like?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Veronica.
Yeah, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and no 750 and below. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all laugh because you all know everybody's looking for that property, right?
Yeah.
That's actually not a good post, because it's already something that it's out there, and if people have it, you're going to find it on TAN if it's coming out pre-MLS. But here's a good example of something you would want to broadcast. Say you have somebody who needs an in-law unit, or a suite for an au pair, or a disability, or something where you're like, this is a particular need, and my clients are motivated and they are qualified, right? So that's exactly what you want to put on here. Because if somebody looks at that and like, oh, I don't have it, but boy, if I did, I would know exactly that I should be reaching out to you. Does that make sense? Can you give me an example of what you think would be a good one, and I can give you some feedback?
A place in Kaneohe on $1 million below with the view of Kualoa Mountains.
Yeah, coastal views.
Okay, is that something where it's specific enough to, if somebody saw that, they'd be like, it's realistic in price, it's kind of hard to find, oh, and she has a buyer for it, and if I've got that property, they're going to call you?
Yep.
Okay, perfect, thank you, that was really helpful. Okay, and then the last thing is broadcasting and message. Now, in different markets, communities handle this differently, but this would be something like, I need a mid-century modern stager for a 5,000 square foot house in Kahala. I don't know, something like that. So it's specific, and it's something where if there's an agent in that area who has a stager they really like, who does that, they might give you a call, because if you're having trouble finding that, it's a good place to ask. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, so then the next thing is, let's broadcast a property. So this is what it looks like. It's really simple. It's widget driven. The first thing is key facts. You're simply adding an address, which, by the way, you don't have to give the exact address. We do need a city location, and you may, but you don't have to, add a neighborhood. You can add a price or a price range if you haven't set it yet, okay? And then property type, be just single family, multi-unit, condo, townhouse, or lot, all right? Then we're gonna go to MLS timing. You're simply in MLS timing, putting, is it going to be on the MLS or not? Description, again, give it a great headline. Who in your organization is really good at giving great headlines, or writing great headlines?
It's usually me and Howard that are.
Okay, so writing a great headline is actually important, because it makes them click through and look at your property, and that's what you want, right? Showings, this will be up to you. Are you going to show it ahead of time? Are you going to have any broker tours? Are you going to have any open houses? This is your opportunity. And as you notice down here where it says schedule another open, you can have multiple. So if you put it on a week ahead of time, you might say, I'm having a broker tour on this day. I'm doing an open house this night. By the way, you can send your clients to that one, or something like that. So you can put in as many as you want. And then last, photos. It's completely up to you. You don't have to have photos, but as you saw from Adrian's, when you have a beautiful photo, people notice, right? They like photos. So that's pretty much it. Buyers are very similar. Buyers, you're just going to be broadcasting a buyer need. And it's just, again, in that subject line, give them what they need to know. Be as specific as possible. Give them details and remarks, and then location down here. Any questions so far?
How many photos can you put
As many as you want.
Okay.
Yep, so it's cool. Okay, and then the other thing is if you're going the private route. Now here's something, Attilio, in terms of like managing your database. You can add as many clients as you want, and they basically just fit in here. So say you have someone who's told you, look, and say they are a homeowner. They don't really want to sell unless you can find the perfect property for them. So what you might do in here is you might say, look, I'm going to add you as a buyer, and in here I'm going to say exactly what you're looking for. And anytime another agent posts, enters the other side of the deal that would match with you, either as a broadcast or as a private match, you're going to get an email saying, we've got a match for you. And so it's sorry?
JT, I don't know if you're on mute. Maybe if we're hearing some background noise from you. I think that's just. Thanks, JT.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So can any of you think of clients you have like that who have said, I'm not ready to move unless you can find me, and then they give you the description?
The perfect home. Yeah, got
Oh,
plenty
yeah.
of them.
Right? So this is the perfect place to load them in. Or if they say, I'll be ready, but not for 6 months, go ahead and put them in now, because you know how clients are. Sometimes if you find them that house early, you'll say, listen, I know you said you're not ready for 6 months, but guess what? I just got a match on your criteria. I'd love to show it to you and see what you think. So again, it gives you the edge in saying it's not on the market yet. You're not going to be getting this on any feed, but I can show it to you now. So that's a great way to do it for them.
And I have a question about that.
Yep.
So how does the match happen? Is that because of the keywords in the description? Because I'm looking at this kind of like filtering right here, like the criteria, I would say. So I guess the most of the uniqueness of the buyer need would probably go into description, correct?
That is a great question. So it'll make a very, as specific as you are in property type and price range and location. Those are the three things it searches on. It does not do keyword search. So when you get a match, it's usually fairly broad, and then you read and you say, oh, okay, this is what they've got. Oh, okay, that could be a match, or it might be a pick up the phone and call them and say, tell me more. That's usually what it is. It's a tell me more to see, do I really have a match? Because when you don't have a picture, when you don't have an actual property, it's difficult. We didn't want to limit it too much because sometimes people describe things differently, and we didn't want there to be a miss because the keywords weren't the same, that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Alrighty, so that's a buyer. That's how you enter buyers. And then dashboard, this is where you go to find all the clients you've input, both the ones you entered as broadcast that got sent out as emails, and those you just logged in as private matches. An S means it's a seller, a B means it's a buyer. This little icon here that kind of looks like a megaphone means it got broadcast. No megaphone, didn't get broadcast. Active means they're still looking or the property is still active. Expired means if you've entered a seller and it is over 30 days, it will send you a message a week ahead of time and it say your property is about to expire. If you want to renew it, go ahead. If you don't, it'll just expire in a week. And it stays in here, but it shows as expired. If you've had something that has had a property activity report, you'll see here, view activity report, and you can download. And this is what Attilio was talking about, using this to, and this is a fake one, sorry, but you can use this to give your sellers feedback about what the top agents are doing. So for example, this property was delivered to 344 top agents. 7 opened it, 0 click through. Now these numbers are ridiculously low. Usually be something like 100 and some odd opened it and 20 click through or something like that. And when you can show your clients, and this, let's see. Do you see this now? 420 Ridgeway?
Yes.
The 420 Ridgeway, this was an actual property in Austin. And then it becomes a 2-page report, and you can give this to your clients. And so you can see delivered to top agents at 72 different brokerages. It lists all, actually, oh, this is Portland. This lists all the different companies it was delivered to and how many agents at each company received it. And so what you're doing is you're showing your clients, look, I'm already out there working for you. I'm marketing your property and it's not even on the MLS. And they love these stats. They love seeing, oh, wow, this is how many top agents are seeing it. This is how many click through. And I'll also give you a heads up. If you're not getting a good click-through rate, there are a couple things that usually drive this. One, you didn't put it on in advanced, far enough in advance of the MLS. Because again, if agents see that it's on the MLS the next day, it doesn't give them time to act. But if you put it on there, 5-7 days ahead of time, and they've had a chance to look at it, to send it to their clients, you're getting a lot of click-throughs on that. And beautiful pictures help, and great prices help, obviously. So, and you guys are good at both of those. So that's pretty much what I've got. Can you let me know if you have some questions I can answer?
Sure, does anybody have questions?
Howard?
With the expired thing, that kind of makes it feel like that the property's sold or withdrawn or something like that. As long as it'll give you an option to either take it off completely or do another 30 days before it says expired, correct?
Yeah, and that expired, that is your personal dashboard. So that's not going to show up in the chapter dashboard. That's just your dashboard. So you're keeping track of everything that you've entered into the system.
Okay.
It could mean that, it probably means if it was scheduled to go in the MLS, it probably is in the MLS. So it shows expired on TAN, but it's in the MLS probably.
Okay.
I have a question. Does TAN get synced with any other, like a database kind of programs, like Boomtown?
It does not.
It does not. So we have to manually input every contact, correct? Every buyer?
You do.
Okay.
Pretty fast. That's a great question. But yeah, there aren't a lot of boxes you have to fill in.
Okay.
Is there one login for Team Lally? And if so, like, where do the emails go? Like, if Howard puts something in, does the email come to what email?
I have to check on it.
So great question. Right now there's one login, one password, and whatever Team Lally sets as the email, that's what is used. A lot of our teams have it, again, it all comes to one email, and then they send it where it needs to go. So it's however your team wants to do that. In a few months, we will have a team structure where there will be individual logins and passwords.
It's going to be BA, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a question.
Yes?
It's Renee. Do we have restrictions on the photos that we can use for posting? I mean, can we just, if let's say none of our marketing has not taken a photo yet of the property, can we just get something from the old listing or?
Great question.
Google?
So, old listings, typically photographs are copyrighted. And so just to make sure you don't get into trouble with any photographer, you probably don't want to be taking, unless it's your old listing, but otherwise you probably don't want to be doing that.
Yeah,
We don't have a problem. We're not going to police it. I'm just saying I happen to know about that particular issue.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
guys probably just do a Google Street View. If you guys can do a screen grab and
Good.
figure that out.
It's a great idea.
Temporary, but and again, that's going to be some coordination with Howard, with you and Damien, get Damien out there right away, or you know what? Tell the owner, going. Everybody's got these iPhone. What is it now?
10s,
No,
17s, and
no, there's like,
That's all.
That's right.
whatever. The latest. My sister's got one.
Yeah.
My sister's got the latest iPhone, and it takes it like a professional photograph. I mean, you
Yeah.
take a really nice landscape photo, and every homeowner would be like, so listing partners, you got to get on that. Howard, you guys got to call these sellers and say, hey, help us help you. We're gonna be marketing this to the top agent network. I need you to go in the front of your home and take a couple of photos of the front and get them to us ASAP so we can use them. Then we don't have to worry about copyright. Then we'll do
Perfect.
partnerships going. What else? What other questions you all have?
So we don't limit any buyers, right? So any buyers that's interested, we can just put them in the TAN network or system.
Yeah, again, I strongly recommend that you, well, two things. One, as TAN is starting out, you're not going to, I'm just be real upfront, you're not going to get a lot of matches. It's going to take a lot of people populating the database to really start getting matches and broadcasting and things like that. You probably don't want to overwhelm the system with a bunch of buyer posts. Again, be strategic with your buyer broadcasts about when they are unique needs, motivated client, ready to go, that kind of thing. Because otherwise, agents will start ignoring them, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
Makes
And
sense. Thank
when
you.
you put the buyer needs in the system, it's looking for a match. So you can either just look for a match and or broadcast. You don't necessarily need to broadcast every buyer that's out there, right? You're just looking for a match.
That's exactly right. Because you're going to get matched on a broadcast or a private. So you're going to hear about every one of those.
Okay. Because I know that a lot of the, if you, even the top 10% of the agents, 95% of them don't have systems in place to keep track of all of this. Even we're guilty of it, getting pinged on by all these leads. I mean, we barely are getting our ISA team in place where we have a who that's literally just sitting there, 2 of them now, literally sitting there looking at all our inbound leads. And I would say that probably 98% of the top 250 or 500 don't have that. So we got to get creative. I think it's not about broadcasting and waiting for somebody to call us. It's about us actively looking for a match and then calling that agent.
Absolutely.
Because half the time they don't even, they're not looking. They're like, oh yeah, it's on there. Oh, okay. And hopefully we can be speed to lead and get to them. So I don't know. I guess logistically we got to figure out how we can be efficient on our end. Because what I'm finding is most of the time we got to be organized for most of the agents in our market.
So does it start now?
It's active already.
It's active.
Yeah. So we just gotta get the login stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can play with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna debate whether to have you guys individually log on or have that all run through the VAs or something. We got to debate on that because typically what are most of the teams doing? Are they letting everybody log in or running it through one person?
Well, your team is much larger than what most of the teams that use TAN have. Most teams, are 3-4 people. And so they usually just share a login and
Go at it.
yeah.
Okay.
But one team I can think of here in San Francisco, they automatically distribute they have an admin person who looks at all the incoming TAN posts and then distributes them to the different buyers agents knowing what they're working on. One person knowing what everybody's working on.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, Attilio. I think when you put your people in the system, in the private matching system,
Yeah.
those matching emails are going to come in, so you're not going to have to be in there searching all the time. You're going to get a notice immediately.
Yeah, the system will automate. Okay.
Yeah. And also, excuse me, I want to let you know, I'll be back out next week from Tuesday through Thursday. Tuesday through Thursday. So if you need me to come by or want me to come by or I can help in any way, let me know as soon as possible so I can get you slotted in there.
Yeah, maybe why don't we come in and just do an in-house training with whoever we're going to have running this and
Yeah, be happy to.
And actually, yeah, we'll run through the whole thing. Other than that, any questions we should ask that we didn't? Or everybody, somebody got a question?
Just, so what's the time frame in which we'll each have individual logins just for organizational purposes? I feel like.
Okay,
That's a question for Adrian and myself, and I don't have the answer for you guys right now. Or, yeah, we have a login right now. So, what I'm saying is right now, we're debating on whether to let all you guys in or all you gotta do is send an email to the VAs.
Yes.
For what you need.
So my question, just so basically say if I log something in, because we're all in the same name right now,
Yeah.
we have no way of knowing that I was the one that logged in, so
You gotta
basically.
put something in the notes.
Put a comma, like a parentheses in your initials or something like that.
Or
Yeah.
just put your name in the description. This is from,
Yeah.
you know.
So
You know, just still need to work with the logistics. of it.
Yeah,
Somebody, whoever's
Yeah,
running it now.
this session is just to learn about the
Just
system,
introductory.
but we'll have more meetings to talk about how we're gonna implement.
Okay.
All right, Ann, other than that, I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.